everyone I talked to today before the game was like, he wants to play. He is motivated to play. He wants to play because he hates missing games.
Yeah.
He wants to play in the All-Star game. Like, he is fired up. He wants to win games. So Sabonis is going to do everything he can to play. The question with that, though, Morgan, is that the right call? What kind of damage could be done if Sabonis comes back and he's not, if he's not 80%, 70%? And can he get back to where he needs to be or where the Kings need him to be while playing? Those are all big questions. I think just when you look at the season as a whole for a team that's trying to make the playoffs, trying to end this drought, those are big questions that I guess we just can't answer at this point. It's just a lot of what ifs at this moment.
A fun Willsy stat of the night, because it's about Sabonis and his ability to stay healthy and stay in games. Sabonis is one of only 43 players who has played in every game so far this season. He played 1,141.1 total minutes of the possible 1,493 minutes. So he's a guy that can play through things, right? Whether it's he's had little bumps and bruises that he's battled through because he's a big in this league, and you're going to take that night in and night out. But now you're talking more of something that could be that lingering injury, right? A ligament. Those are annoying. Ligaments torn or screwed with anywhere on your body are annoying as hell. What people have this day and age when it comes to cortisone shots or certain muscle things that can help your body, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but It's going to be one of those things where it's a pain tolerance thing. He can deal with it however he needs to deal with it. But it's the same way that when we saw De'Aaron Fox out there, when he wasn't playing at 100% health, it was like, whoa, sit him out. I hope we don't have to get there with Domantas Sabonis.
And I think whenever he decides to test it out, maybe tomorrow against Denver before the game, he did not go through practice the day before. He didn't go through shoot around this morning. He was at the game tonight. But, there's obviously, when you have that thumb injury that he has with the ligament, it is his right hand, which is good news.
Offhand.
His offhand, if there's some good news there.
Woo.
He does go for rebounds with both hands, right?
Two hands.
That's tough. When he wants to push the ball up court, that could be a challenge. The other thing is, this is the NBA, Morgan. We know damn well when you got a little hand thing, the guy gets beat up as it is. Mm-hmm. Teams are going to target that. They're going to be swiping down on that thumb. And so he has to be at a point where you're right, what you just said. How is his pain tolerance? Now, Keegan Murray has a thumb thing going on too. And if you look back, that he mentioned, he was asked about today by James Ham, and he really did not want to go into detail about it at all. But he said it happened in the Cleveland game. He was questionable going into the Knicks game on that last road trip. And since then, his right hand has been wrapped. So I'm very curious to see what Sabonis' hand looks like compared to that. Is it wrapped similar? They're going through similar things, right? Keegan's able to play. Keegan also doesn't get the same type of attention that Sabonis gets throughout a game. So I think that's kind of the lingering thing is, one, if he's able to play, how effective can he be? And two, if he can't play, are the Kings capable of just kind of hovering around this 500 mark until he is back and ready to go? It's going to be a challenge.
And tonight, they played the number one team in the Western Conference without their number one. Let's just call him what he is right now. He's their number one guy.
He's their best player.
Like, he is the guy that is, managing the entire offense, that is the top, or was the leading rebounder in the NBA. I don't know if he still is right now. But either way, what he's doing out there on the floor is all-star level talent, right? And it's truly created the identity of this team. So you saw tonight, without him, they still had that fast-paced identity. They were knocking down some of their threes to start the game. De'Aaron Fox does a fantastic job getting to his spots. He's a huge part of what their identity is, especially on the offensive end. But it's still, you're missing this big piece on both ends of the floor when Sabonis isn't out there on the floor, and you can see where it can make a big difference, especially when Jordy Fernandez had to go small ball later on in that game.
Yeah, so the Kings elected to start Alex Len tonight. Jordy Fernandez coached this game because Mike Brown is in health and safety protocols. How long is he going to be out? We don't know. But Jordy Fernandez, who turned 40 today, spent 6 seasons on Michael Malone's staff, got his first chance to start and coach a game tonight against the Denver Nuggets. So they went with Alex Len, but you saw a whole bunch of different lineups. The second big off the bench tonight, or the first big off the bench tonight, was
Good word.
Yeah, are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
That's the second time I've done that tonight.
I know. How about you slow it down 2 notches and say the word? I'm just being nice.
Who? That was nice?
No,
Are you going to say that was nice?
No. And I saw your look and I was like, ooh,
what
retract.
We're not on the same team anymore?
No.
Do you not want to be on the same team?
Did you see how quickly, as soon as the look went, I was like, that was kind of mean. So I took it.
It was kind of mean.
Well, it was twice that you just really screwed up. I get it. Hey. No. Okay, so they went to the bench to Rashawn Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes.
Oh,
I
him,
said
yes.
it. Yes, I said it. I said it right. And then we saw Trey Lyles at some small ball 5, which Deuce Mason did suggest.
Hey.
And I actually thought that had some nice moments.
It did.
Before we go into kind of those little parts of the game, can we start with the end, the fourth quarter?
Get straight to what? The last 4 minutes mostly?
I'm going to go beyond that.
Okay.
The Kings competed tonight. I give them credit.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had a chance to win tonight. And I don't want to just give attaboys they stayed in it with the number one team, because I thought they made crucial mistakes down the stretch. And it started early in that fourth quarter, at the halfway point and late in the game. De'Aaron Fox tonight had 5 turnovers. 3 of those happened in the fourth quarter, Morgan.
Yeah.
And that one late where he's trying to get it to Trey Lyles with KCP on him, that was a really bad one.
What about the oop to Malik Monk?
Oh, you want me to go down the list
Go
here?
down the list.
Because I've got my list here looking at the fourth quarter. So, remember, Jokic starts the fourth quarter on the bench. A chance for the Kings to all right, can they
push,
get some points on the board? Didn't get off to a great start. So, Fox hits a 3. Awesome. Okay, maybe he can get it going. He did have 11 of his 26 in the fourth quarter. They play some nice defense. In transition, Fox throws a really, really tough lob to Malik Monk. Turnover. What happens?
It didn't even get there. Yeah.
Denver hits a 3.
Oh, yeah. In transition. Top of the key.
So, again, forced turnover, you turn it right back over. That happened too many times tonight in general. Then you had Malik Monk with a travel.
Mm-hmm.
The other way.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And then Jamal Murray, next play, gives them the lead, breaks down the defense, gives Denver its first lead, 87-86. Then Jokic comes back in the game. Okay, so that's a challenge. Now it's 90-89. Kings miss a couple of shots. Rashawn Holmes gets an offensive rebound and quite possibly puts up one of the worst second chance opportunities in the history
Was that
of the
the
game.
fall away kind of hook weird?
It was, and I get it. That he's excited to be on the floor. He had some nice moments tonight, and I actually liked his spark. I was so happy that
I'm with you.
Davion gave him some good opportunities, get that push shot going. Like, he did some nice things. But I'm pinpointing the little things right now from this team down the stretch. And Rashawn Holmes, instead of spraying that out to a 3-point shooter, moving the ball around,
Take that second.
you're going back up with it and taking a terrible shot.
It's just not a good look, right?
That's a turnover, right? Even if it's not a turnover, it's a turnover. You're just throwing it away. That hurt. Then 6:38, Davion has a turnover. Luckily, Denver missed the 3, but then Davion comes down, airballs it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Out of that timeout. So those were just big sequences. And then I thought late down the stretch, I mentioned the play Fox Lyles. Fox also had some bad defensive plays down the stretch where Murray just took it to him. And Fox did some nice things tonight, but again, when you're taking on a team without your best player in Sabonis and you're in the game, I'm not saying you got to play perfect, but they are better than how they played down the stretch. And I was disappointed with how they finished. look, you're right. Grand scheme of things, losing to the Nuggets when you're without your best player, it's fine. But when you got a chance to win and it's crunch time, you got to execute the right way. And I just expect more from Fox in those situations, right? Even without Sabonis, 11 points is great, but you got to make the right decisions. KCP, when he's on you like that, and you're going to think you're going to get it right back to Lyles, KCP's a smart defender. This guy's playing the NBA Finals. What do you always say? Fake a pass to make a pass.
Good job. It's true. And not to expect perfection from the guy down the stretch, but because he is one of your leaders, his style of play will set the tone. So if he's turning the ball over, other guys are going to be chaotic as well, right? And that's what you kind of saw with this Kings squad down the stretch there, because they very much had this game. And it wasn't fluky how they had this game. They did a great job with their game plan in the first half. The Nuggets made some great adjustments in the second half. What did they do? They started feeding Jokic the ball in the paint. He had 12 of his 14 points in the first 6 minutes of that second half. So they started getting their things going, right? They started going on their run, understanding the style of play that they needed to play. It wasn't even deflating the Kings. Like, you didn't notice it in their body language or anything. And they kept fighting, kept battling all the way to that fourth. But when the Nuggets did finally pull away, I didn't feel like they were necessarily just winning it. It was the Kings losing it and kind of giving it away too.
Bad decisions, turnovers, shot selection, and defensive breakdowns.
Yeah.
And when you're taking on a team like this, that's going to kill you. I want to go back to one thing in the third quarter because, again, sometimes we focus on the plays that happen late in the game and go, this is what hurt you. But there's other things. The Kings only had 2 fast break points tonight. And I think part of it was decision-making, too. There was one play, third quarter, I noted it. It's 74-70. Monk misses a corner 3. Ball gets back to him. He launches it immediately. Misses that one. Okay. Missed shots happen.
Okay.
Whatever. Then Monk, good for him, steals the ball. Kings are on a 3-on-2 break. Attack the basket, please. Just please attack the basket. Instead, he's looking for Lyles in the corner. And he got Lyles in the corner, but it was a really bad pass. And it allowed Jokic to close out on him. Lyles missed a 3. These are little things, right?
Yeah.
It's like, fire it to the corner. You better make that shot. Like, the pass was so bad.
Gotta give it to the shooter pocket.
Yeah,
you gotta keep it good.
It was not a great pass.
Yeah.
And so Lyles is picking it and he's got to get it off and he shoots anyway. I wish Lyles could have pump faked a little bit, then maybe drive. He did that once tonight with a shooter or a defender closing out, which I loved. And it was Jokic closing out, I believe, I think in the first half, and he got right to the basket. But the little things are going to matter in these type of games against the really good teams. Denver missed so many shots in the first half. Jokic only took 2 shots.
Only had 2 points.
I mean, Denver came into tonight as the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA, 39%. They were clanking everything in the first half, and Jokic took 2 shots for 2 points, as you mentioned. Those were my big concerns, and then I felt like, I got to be honest, I think the Kings, you have to double Jokic. I get it, but the recovery was bad, and helping off Michael Porter is insane to me. Michael Porter, when he gets going,
buckets.
He's buckets.
He's buckets.
The shot is pure. It's a beautiful shot.
It doesn't matter where he is on the floor.
Hey, man, if you want to throw some quick double teams and recover, whatever,
but
throw
even
different looks.
Why are you throwing a double at a 7-footer that his skill set, his timing, his IQ is so dead on that he can tell you what he's going to do as you take 2 steps toward him to double him, right? Like, it's just, Jokic is such a smart player. His vision is absolutely just on a different level. You've got to do something else. And that's why even when they started pressing in the backcourt at the end of the game, I was like, it's already too late. They almost should have done it when they were down by 4. The momentum had shifted. The Denver Nuggets were making all of their outside shots. The ball was just flowing. Things were looking good at the end.
Yeah, Denver in the fourth quarter outscored Sacramento 34-23. They shot 61%. They were 7 of 12 from three, Morgan. So 7 of their 13 made 3-pointers came in the fourth quarter. They scored 66 points on the Kings in the second half. It was 66-50 Denver in the second half. So, I think if I'm going to get some positives tonight, and I don't know if I'm sounding too harsh tonight with some of the stuff I'm saying.
No, I think what's funny is I think we're actually being super fair with the perspective of going into this game, because I think that's no matter what, number one team in the West, like they are what they are. You're without Sabonis, your identity changes as a team. But the fact is they showed that they could play in this game, that they could beat this team, and they lost it. So no, you're not being unfair.
So I thought in the first half, I thought they did a solid job defensively. Now, some of this you do have to realize Denver was missing some good looks too. Like, it's not just simply, the Kings locked down the first half and the second half was a mess. No, Denver started to do what they do, and that's knock down some shots. But I felt like the compete was there. I got to give Sacramento a lot of credit. Rebounding, especially with Sabonis being out, this guy, as Morgan mentioned, is number one in the NBA in rebounding. We're seeing him get 20 rebound games all the time. Sacramento was out-rebounded by 1 today. 40-39. And
love it.
When this guy is out, who's going to come in and who's going to give you something? Who's going to try to make up for it? Trey Lyles gave you 11 points and 10 rebounds tonight. Barnes gave you 8 boards. You got 4 from Herter. You got 7 from Rashawn. So it's going to take, it's that gang rebounding mentality. It's going to take a little bit of everyone. So I was encouraged by that tonight, that they did not get destroyed on the glass.
And when they were up by 20 in that first half, I believe it was in that first half when they were up by 20. And it did
early second quarter.
Yes, that's when it was. It was the way that they were putting a body on guys. They were moving guys out of the paint. They were making sure to get that rebound, crash the glass. It looked really good. And that's another reason why it kept Jokic off of the offensive boards. It kept him out of the paint from scoring. And then it was like, he's a smart player. Michael Malone is a smart coach. They changed it up and started scoring in the paint, which also helped their outside shots to get some better looks.
What did you think of the decision tonight? They played Alex Len. Number one, they started him. And coming into tonight's game, Alex Len on the season has played 8 games in a total of 25 minutes. What did you think of the decision by Mike Brown, Jordy Fernandez to go with Alex Len in the starting lineup against Jokic?
I liked it. I think it was an absolute matchup thing that they were going with, body size, obviously putting some girth, some length, some height in there in the paint with Jokic to start. And what I like is that sometimes they show their guys that they trust them in different ways, right? Obviously, Metu, you're not seeing time again. And there's certain things, certain aspects about his game that he's not consistent with that they possibly don't trust. Something else that maybe Alex Len showed that, next man up mentality. I know exactly what the hell I need to do. Rashawn Holmes coming off the bench after him is kind of the role that he has been kind of playing this season. So they've kept it more of that identity for him. But I liked it. I was fine with it. I don't think there's anything to really knock.
Some of the stuff that you said you liked it. He ends up playing just under 14 minutes tonight. So I think his first stint was pretty solid. I thought Rashawn came in and gave him a nice lift.
Agreed.
And I feel like when you're trying to get Rashawn going again, you're trying to find ways to get him to come in and contribute. I love the fact that they got him some looks. And it was like, okay. And you could tell he felt a little more confident out there. And they gave him an extended run. Len started the game. He came out at the 6-minute mark. That's when Holmes came into the game. Len did not come in until 4:19 of the second quarter. So Holmes got an extended run. Rashawn on the night ends up playing 23 minutes. Now in the third quarter, Len again starts the second half. He picks up 2 quick fouls. One of them I thought was super questionable from my angle.
Yeah.
It was that contest he had. Excuse me.
Ew.
I'm drinking. I'm drinking a LaCroix. I had a little bubble in my throat. You're not being nice tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're not being nice.
Okay, excuse you.
I said excuse me.
I know, and I just said I was trying to be nice. Like, what else? Excuse you.
Okay, so Alex Len picks up that contest. What do you think when he got called for the foul on Jokic on nice defense?
Bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, he gets taken out of the game at the 8-10 mark. He does not come back into the game. They go with Rashad, and then Trey Lyles playing some small ball 5. I like Trey Lyles playing some small ball 5, especially when you're trying to get some buckets. He could score a little bit. He's tough, good size, especially in this matchup. May not be every night against some of these centers in the league, but in this matchup, I was fine with it.
In this matchup, because of obviously the unique player that Jokic is, I mean, you saw times that it was Lyles and Harrison Barnes switching on Jokic, right? Like you had to do what you had to do tonight. And what Lyles provided was so much strength against him, right? Trying to make sure he wasn't going to get deep on a block with a nice post move easy. Instead, he tried pushing him out more toward even further out from the high post. But obviously, Jokic knows how to play from anywhere on the floor. But yeah, I liked it. I was at one point going, why aren't you going with what worked? But I also think because of the adjustments that Denver made, it wasn't going to work if you had just shoved Len back in there, right?
As good of a job as Len did, I
Absolutely.
thought, in his minutes, Jokic also wasn't. Jokic was being super passive and shocking. I mean, the guy, again, Jokic is a freak.
Adjustments.
When he's throwing passes behind his head, just knowing his teammates are there. I'm like, what is he doing?
When I text you, when he had, you're just talking about early on in this podcast, Sabonis, you have to grab the ball with 2 hands when you're going up for a rebound. Not Jokic. He goes up with 1 hand, the outlet to Michael Porter Jr., just like a football, and boom, down the court. It was absolutely beautiful. But, yeah.
Yeah, he started to look for his, though, in the second half. You could tell he came out and was like, okay, we got to stop dicking around a little bit. This is knock 2-time MVP. Could make a case for 3 straight MVPs.
The NBA won't have it.
He won't win it.
No.
He won't.
He won't.
The only way he could win it is if, like, the Nuggets somehow won, like, 62 games and he had more, like, 45, 20, 15 games or something.
Fair.
Maybe. But even then, like league, the voters are not going to allow it.
Are you sure they're not going to fall in love with his new suit game and just be like, wow, he's amazing on and off the court?
His suit game is nice.
It is.
Yeah, he's like, it's business. It's business now.
I take that vibe.
No, Jokic tonight, he got his in that second half. He finished the game with 20 points. He had 11 assists, 9 rebounds. He had 0 turnovers.
You guys.
I mean, what do you say about this guy?